Hello, Google Hangouts on air. All right, we're ready to go here. Good morning. Welcome to Marketing Over Coffee. I'm John Wall.
I'm Christopher Penn.
And we are back in the land of cold and ice here. It's been a nothing winter of no snow, really, but we survive. And yeah, I don't know, people south of us actually got crushed, which was really weird. Not that there's anything wrong with the environment, but that's far beyond scope of this podcast. Let's start with, I had Twitter stock plunging, and my only notes for that was, we told you about that last week, so go listen to last week. If you want to stay 7 days ahead, stick with us. You had Facebook earnings, though, some new numbers. What's up over there?
Yeah, so Facebook did its Q4 and 2015 earnings report, and to no one's surprise, they basically become the front page of the internet, is the way I would phrase it. Their earnings were off the charts. I mean, if you look at the graphs of what they clocked for revenue, it was crazy. They still managed 3% user base growth. They've got, pick a stat, and basically it says that if you're doing social media and you're not doing Facebook, no matter what business you're in, you're probably doing something wrong because that's where all the people are.
Yeah, that's where the traffic is. They're running the show now. So, all right, no,
1.6 billion people.
That's a good chunk of the entire planet, which is amazing to think, and all mobile too. That is the other thing that's ridiculous.
Yeah, for the first time, over half of Facebook accesses the service only on a mobile device. So again, they're at 90 point. I forget what it is. It's almost 91% of Facebook users use a mobile device at least part of the time to access the service. So if you are doing anything with mobile ads, mobile content, mobile video, that's the place to be. The other thing that was really interesting was that Zuckerberg was talking about in the earnings, video. So obviously Oculus is coming out and things like that, but he was also saying they are experimenting with a Facebook video portal /app /experience. They're going to try and, I guess, is clone the YouTube experience inside of Facebook somehow. So again, if you are a marketer and you are making video and you're putting it on Facebook, which you should be at this point, make sure your metadata is all good. Titles, descriptions, and stuff, because they're going to have suggested videos, all that stuff.
Yeah, I can see them fighting to try and take some of YouTube's lunch. That seems to be the next big clash of the titans that we'll be watching. So we'll look forward to see what happens over there. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So we had talked about Raspberry Pi. I have two over here that I'm playing around with and doing some stuff with. And of course, my first problem was I ordered Raspberry Pi 1 cases, not Raspberry Pi 2 cases. So it makes me look even cooler because I just have all these circuit boards that I'm doing stuff with. So we'll have more on that project as it goes. But it just struck me that, with apps and phones, like the age of the computer is dead. Like I was sitting there with this Raspberry Pi. I was like, oh, wow, keyboard, power cord, monitor cord. I was like, I haven't done this in like 4 or 5 years. It's like flashback to when people had computers, which is come and gone. So another article about talking about changing times and things moving on, a neat link to computer actually beating a professional player of Go, which it's funny if you don't know a lot about Go or have never played the game. One thing is that it's been explained to me by people that know the game. I am by no means an expert in the game, but that has a far greater skill range than chess. Chess kind of has a narrow band of expert to beginner, whereas Go has a much wider level of complexity, which creates a wider level of players. But they have a computer player that actually beat a human. So this is kind of moving closer to Turing test kind of things, machines that can actually outwit humans. And machine learning, of course, has been one of your big topics for the year that you've already laid out. Are you surprised at this Go next level of adaptation?
Not at all. And in fact, that was actually one of the other things that was in the earnings call, was that in addition to Zuckerberg's personal attempt to develop an AI, he said that Facebook's essentially doubling down on their artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities. So it's absolutely no surprise the direction they're headed in. The only question is whether we all have the good sense to try and keep up with them.
To stay on track. Okay, shifting over to Google too. Now, there were two things. I wanted to run by because there was an article about the Google core algorithm talking about kind of what constitutes updates and what doesn't. And it was basically sitting through like 10 minutes of stuff. And I presume that you had already given it the eyeball since you had it in your newsletter. So I figured rather than me waiting through the video, I would just pitch that back to you for highlight reel.
I highlight reel is this. Panda, which is the low quality content algorithm, is now part of core, which means that it affects all queries. When something's in the core algorithm, it affects everything. Whereas if it's, there's specific queries that affect certain instances or certain types of searches or certain services like Google Maps and stuff, when you're part of core, you're part of essentially the core machine learning algorithm that determines what's going to happen. And so Panda has evolved enough, and Google feels confident enough to say that low quality content filtering is something they want to be doing everywhere all the time. The same things that you have been doing to make your content relevant and timely and valuable and fresh and all the query deserves whatever things, you basically have to do all the time and everything now. So that means things like YouTube videos. You need to be figuring out, not just uploading trash. That means your Google Maps listing has to not, be filled with trash and best practices in general anyway, but Google basically saying, nope, you got to do it now. It's not optional.
And it has to go. Okay, so that's interesting. So it is. I hadn't realized that there are sections of queries that get shunted off to other stuff that doesn't apply to everything. But obviously that makes sense. That's how they test these other subsections or deal with, bizarre, like you said, mapping or language translation or whatever. It kind of has certain problems that you don't want to tie up resources for every single query. So that makes sense.
Yep. And they also say that Google the core algorithm basically has to be bulletproof. Like it can't crash. So a lot of stuff that's in labs and things, I'll take down a server farm or two and stuff. Because core is part of everything, it's got to be bulletproof. It's got
to be mission proven, rock solid, and ready to go.
Yeah.
Now you had an article SEO checklist that you thought was solid. What was the deal with that?
Yeah. So this is over on Search Engine Watch. It's the 14 most important SEO tasks in order of priority. And it's a terrific checklist. If you are just starting to get your hands dirty on a new website or refreshing your existing website, it lists out what you need to do. And a real quick rundown: identify and remove duplicate content, check your navigation, make sure that it's working, make sure your design is responsive, set up Google Analytics and Webmaster Tools, which is now called Search Console. Make sure that you're showing up in Google, create your local search accounts and your Maps account and so on. So it's a rock solid. These are the basics. If you don't have this done, everything else can wait until you get the stuff done.
All right, that's good. A basic rundown of where to start. That's always welcome by the audience for folks that are just dipping their toe into this ugly morass. We've got all right. So leading innovation. You said the book will drop Monday. What's going on? I did see notice that you've sent it off to the printers.
Yep, it's the digital printers as it is. Uploaded it into the Kindle store last night. I do not recommend buying on Amazon. Buy it off of Gumroad because once you go over $9.99 on Amazon, you drop from the 70% royalty to the 35% royalty. So you have to increase the cost of the book commensurately if you want to have it have the same net income or the net revenues. So do not buy it. Just buy it off of my personal website. You'll save about a considerable amount of money. It's like 3x, I think, because. So if you use a service like Gumroad or Sells or any of these direct marketing things, they take 5%, right? So on a $27 book, you keep $26. For the same net revenue on Amazon, you have to list the book for almost $80.
Right, to cover that. Well, and then also, it totally comes down to, do you have the audience or not? Like, you do have followers and audience, and you know that they're going to love this content. And so you get the transaction detail too, which is huge. You actually know the emails of the folks who buy it, so you can follow up or send them more material. Whereas with Amazon, you're just it's the mystery thing. You throw them some books and you get some money back, and you hope everything goes well. And it may or may not. As the pile of crappy books attests, it does not work out most of the time.
Yeah. So the one thing I'm doing two things differently on this launch than I've done on previous launches, because I actually like this book. The last one's like, okay, it was a good book, but this one, I really, really like how this one turned out. So the first thing is, I'm going to be doing a limited experiment with Twitter direct messages to my followers. Just, I'm bucketing them out in terms of social influence. Some will get the please share this, others will just get the please buy this. And we're going to do a little A/B testing to see who takes action and what and where based on their social influence scores. That'll be fun. And the other thing is, I'm actually going to try doing some old-fashioned, regular PR pitching to book review lists and stuff. So I've got the database and all that stuff. One of the perks of working at a PR agency is PR databases. So we're going to test it out and see what gives the real juice. So stay tuned. Probably the next month or so, I'll have a good sense of what approach works well if you're trying to launch something like a book, which to do and which is not worth your time.
All right, that is a great segue too to talk about profiling your customers, know who's doing what. You can stop wasting your time with bad leads by using Infer for predictive scoring to automatically recognize high potential marketing qualified leads. And I got to see some of the back end stuff. I've been talking about this for a while that it's coming. Their prospect management module. And the first part of that, the profile builder, is perfect for what you were talking about. You can actually go in and say, okay, show me, of any of these different criteria, what prospects meet this group, and then you're able to bundle those and push them right into Salesforce or your email marketing system. And it just takes so much work out of coming up with the right lists and making sure you're not running dupe lists and all the headaches that go along with that stuff. So we'll be showing off more of that, but I've got a link to their prospect management overview, so you can check that out if that's the kind of thing you're talking about, because it goes, first you build the profiles, but then you build the campaigns and even build the suggestion engine so that it can show you similar people and help you out with all your campaigns. You can head on over to infer.com/MOC and enter your email address there, and you can see how they uncover signals about you to determine if you're a good fit for the product. And check it out again at infer.com/MOC. We thank them for their support of the show in Q1 here, and more from them to come, and happy to have them on board. Okay, so we had what's next on the big one here? Wikipedia board member controversy. If you're into Wikipedia politics, it just amazes me how this is its own world of drama and angst and violence. If you don't know Wikipedia and you get kind of dragged into it, it can be ugly and ridiculous. And this is very interesting, going all the way up to the board level. But how about, I just wanted to check in because we haven't in a while. Like, where's Wikipedia on your radar, and how much do you watch it, and what should people be doing today with it?
I pay almost no attention to it because one of the things is that behind the scenes, they've got a lot of monitoring and stuff. And for example, we were trying to post something, I forget what, and our IP came back as actually a filtered IP. So that someone on the back end has figured out, which PR firms, what their IP addresses are, and have started just screening us out. Either that or somebody else in the office is, behaving badly and blacklisted us. Either way, it's not something that we even want to deal with. It's just too much of a pain in the butt, and you're basically sitting there trying to babysit a listing every single day. It's not a great use of anyone's time.
Not worth it. Well, and of course you guys have the back end analysis too. It seems like unless you're in a business where that is a major portion of inbound traffic, obviously it's a waste of time. But yeah, it still seems to be kind of black art. You need to have somebody who knows Wikipedia to take care of things and keep things going for you. So interesting to watch. We had a Google Tag Manager throughout there. You had talked with Michael Stelzner about what's going on there. It seems to me that's going to be core with everything that Google's got going on in the next year or so too. Totally.
The thing that there's some stuff going on. Unfortunately, it's under NDA. We can't talk about it. But let's say Tag Manager is super important, and it actually does. It does improve your site, make your site work better and stuff. So make sure that you've got it going and got it all set up and stuff. But yeah, I did an interview on Social Media Examiner's podcast. Basics of it, why it's important for marketers, being able to bundle all your tags together and not have a crap ton of stuff just kind of bog your site down. Make sure that it's installed by the end of the first quarter. That's all I can say without breaking NDAs, but make sure it's installed by the end of the first quarter, please.
All right. Well, that's solid advice from the inside. So this is definitely value for the podcast. We probably won't throw a link to that then. So this is only for the good folks who listen, our true Marketing Over Coffee hardcore fans, who I have let down this week too. I had talked about the MOC Awards nomination page that I would have it up come hook or by crook today, and I have not done that. Because it's just been too busy a week. So it's, at least the good news is there's a lot of other business going on. But I will, again, mark it for this weekend, and it'll get pushed in the email, so don't worry about it. I actually should just shut my mouth and leave it to the email when it goes out. But podcasting is only for the bold people. Remember that. We've got Key and Peele doing a Squarespace Super Bowl ad. Obviously, that's for a lot of folks in the advertising world, this is it. It all comes down to next weekend. Anything on the Super Bowl front that you're watching, or anything of interest there?
I forget what the number is this year. It's ridiculously expensive. But one of the neat things, and this is a full disclosure, Citrix is a client, but Justin Levy over at Citrix.com has their offices within line of sight of Levi Stadium. So they've been posting photos of the construction and stuff going on around the site. I'm amazed at how last minute a lot of this stuff is, where like they're building the superstructure and stuff for it looks like a building of some kind in the parking lot, and it really is kind of last minute because they let it wait a while.
Yeah, that is bizarre because they've known about the venue forever, but I guess they do what they can do and they do it. It is amazing too how much of a war room that they need for all of the stuff that gets done on site. It's just it's approaching Olympic Village level, which is just incredible. But this is it, the biggest televised event going for the year. So we'll have, I'm sure by next week we'll have some of the best Super Bowl ads. Yeah, feel free to send us any stuff on the Super Bowl too. If you come across anything that's interesting, we'd love to hear about it. As far as besides spending obscene amounts of money for 30 seconds, which happens like crazy. I thought apartments.com I think has Jeff Goldblum back. I saw some buzz about that, so that's going to be an exciting one. But otherwise, that's it for the rundown. I didn't have a ton of other stuff on the list. Is there anything else that's on your radar for this week?
Nothing. I mean, I'm getting ready for the book launch. Is sort of the big thing. So going through all my checklists and stuff, and it's funny listening to all different authors and trying to piece together what they use for book launch and trying to assemble it into a master list. We'll see how whose stuff works best and whose stuff does not. But it should be a good learning experience, one way or the other. The one thing that if I will say this, if you want to see someone who's got their complete portfolio put together well, go check out Jay Baer's personal site, and you will he's doing his launch of Hug Your Haters, which is coming out in I think March 1st. But in terms of what should you copy in terms of getting ready for a launch and stuff, that he's the guy to follow.
Yeah, no, he's got all the ducks lined up. It's a classic art of war here. Success is predetermined. I would be surprised if that book doesn't do well because everything is lined up to go. And as a matter of fact, he will be on the microphone. I've got him scheduled for, I think, in about 10 days. So we'll be hearing the direct from him about what's going on with Hug Your Haters. If you have any Hug Your Hater questions or book-related questions for Mr. Baer, feel free to send them over because we'll talk to him and see what he's got going on. But yeah, that's going to be exciting. He's, again, that book is ready to launch without a doubt. And but it will be good. You will have the data back end going, so it'll be fun to compare and see where these things are going. On the road front, yeah, I almost had a last-minute trip to Lake Tahoe last week, but that was averted. So I am looking at, I don't know, actually, there's nothing on the event calendar for the rest of, I am so behind. I'm like, for the rest of January, I'm like, oh, wait, there's 2 days in January. So I guess, yeah, there's surprising. There's nothing left. I guess, yeah, I've just come now with a kindergartner to appreciate the hated school vacation, which is coming up. Figuring out what to do with that. I actually had a friend joking about if we could cryogenically freeze children, that would be a hell of a deal. You could just set it up before vacation. I do not condone or I do not approve that message. I'll take a political dodge on that. But I did think it was funny. I'm at least not above laughing at a good joke. So how about for yourself, travel? You've got anything big going down? Got
some client engagements coming up in February and stuff. But March is when I first hit the road. I'll be at the Martech conference in San Francisco talking about the new book. And then in April, I'll be in San Diego at Social Media Marketing World to be talking about data-driven customer journeys there. So a couple of good shows coming up in the next couple of months.
All right, that's good. Run out there, buy your television set for the Super Bowl because that's what the industry needs you to do. And so you must obey. And until then, we will talk to you next week. Enjoy the coffee.
Enjoy the coffee.